Hey, what up, guys? So coming to you this morning, I want to break down, give you the weekend preview. So it's Saturday, May 11th. That's pretty much the only day we got fights. We got two big cards coming at you on the 11th that are going to feature two number ones on Saturday, guys. So two number one fighters are going to be defending their titles that night on two different cards. And the undercards aren't bad either. So let's kick it off with we'll go in order from when they're going to start. At 5 o'clock, that's West Coast time, 8 p.m. Eastern. You got on what is it, Fox? You got Jarrett Hurd in the main event. Let's talk about the co-feature real quick. Matt Korobov, who fought Jermall Charlo last December and came up just short against him in what a lot of people thought was a controversial decision. He's returning. He's currently my number 10 middleweight in the world right now at 160. Good, solid southpaw with some pop. He's taking on Emmanuel Alim. Now, I don't know if this is for sure the co-feature, but he's the biggest name on the undercard, and I think they'd be stupid to not put him as the co-feature in this one. But should be a decent performance. I think he's going to knock this Alim guy out because Alim's not very well known. So, yeah, I think he's going to knock him out, and he's a good, strong, solid middleweight. So you should see a good performance if, indeed, this is the co-feature. But really the main event is the one to focus on this Fox card. You got Jarrett Hurd, the number one super welterweight in the world. That's 154 pounds. He's also the unified champion. He holds 2 of the 4 titles. He's got the IBF and WBA belts. And he's positioning himself for a showdown with likely the winner of the rematch between Charlo and Tony Harrison that's taking place in June. So he's taking on his number one contender. Jarrett Hurd is taking on his number one contender, Julian J-Rock Williams. Now, J-Rock fought Jermall Charlo a couple years ago for the WBC, or I think it was the WBC title, the IBF title, I'm sorry. And he got knocked out against Charlo. So Hurd's coming in a pretty solid favorite going into this one. And I think he's going to win this one too. But J-Rock does bring a fight. He does come to fight. He can take some punishment, but he does leave himself wide open. And Jarrett Hurd has just been the fucking bruiser of 154 for the last 2 years. He's been, he proved himself the best in the division last year by beating Lara in the fight of the year in a great fight against Erislandy Lara when they unified belts. And then, he's just been a good, solid super welterweight for a while. And I'm looking forward to this fight a lot. I think it's going to be a good performance from Hurd. I think he's really going to bring it. I think he's going to be at 100%, not coming back from a surgery like he did in December. And I think he's going to, eventually knock out Julian J-Rock Williams. But it should be an entertaining kind of slugfest for a while. I do think you're going to see two guys that throw a lot of bombs, throw a lot of punches, and I'm picking Hurd to score. I'd say it could happen early, but I'm saying more towards the middle round stoppage over J-Rock. But J-Rock's got I wouldn't be surprised if he pulled off the upset. I do think he has a puncher's chance, and I will be surprised, but it wouldn't be the biggest upset ever. So he's a decent fighter. Just out of my top 10, Jarrett Hurd's my number one fighter, and he's going to prove why he's number one. Hurd with the victory. So let's go to the other card now on ESPN. I think it's ESPN Plus and ESPN. I think the main 2 fights are on ESPN Plus. You could probably catch the other ones on regular ESPN, but check both out. But anyways, the whole thing starts around 6:30, 7 o'clock. It's a good double, pretty much, in my opinion, kind of like a double main event. Because you got 2 rematches taking place on this ESPN card. First, in the co-feature, you got Emmanuel Navarrete, who's the WBO Super Bantamweight champion, which is 122 pounds. He's going to rematch the guy he took the belt from, Isaac Dogbe from Africa. Dogbe, I think he's from Ghana, but I'm not 100%. But Dogbe was rolling. He was the number one fighter at 122, and then he took on Navarrete, who's a tall, good, hard-punching Mexican. And back in December, and Navarrete just outworked him and beat him up for 12 rounds. It was a good performance by Navarrete. It was an upset, and now a chance to see if he's the real deal or if Dogboe was overlooking him. So I think it's going to be a good fight. I think it could go either way. To be honest, Dogboe at his best, if he was overlooking this guy, it could be fight of the year candidate, because you got two guys that throw, you know, a lot of punches, and Dogboe, it does physically, he's at a mismatch here, as this guy's taller and longer, but Dogboe's a hog. He likes to fight. He's young, and I'm really looking forward to seeing these two young guys go at it. So it should be a good one. Make sure you check it out. That's the undercard. But I'm going with my pick on the fight. I'm picking Navarrete by a close decision in the rematch. But I really do think this fight could go either way. I wouldn't be surprised. So see what happens. And in the main event, you got the number one fighter at 130 pounds at super featherweight. He's also the reigning WBC super featherweight champ, Miguel Berchelt. This guy is returning to make the 5th defense of his belt against the guy he took it from, former champion Francisco Vargas. These two guys fought in January of 2017, and Berchelt rolled right over Vargas, just absolutely dominated him in a fight that Vargas at the time was number 1 or number 2 at 130 for me, and I think he was number 2 in the world. And he got his ass whipped the first time. Berchelt just completely broke Vargas down and stopped him in the 11th round of that fight, handed him his first loss. You know, Vargas had been in 2 back-to-back fight of the years, though, in which he went toe-to-toe with Takashi Miura in 2016 on the Cotto Canelo undercard and got knocked out. Or no, he scored the knockout, and then he fought Orlando Salido in 2000. No, that was in 15. Then in 2016, he fought Orlando Salido. And it was a toe-to-toe, back-and-forth fight that ended in a draw. It was another fight of the year. So he had 2 back-to-back fights of the year going into the fight with Berchelt. And Berchelt broke him down and beat him up. Now, heading into this one, Berchelt's been rolling. He's beaten Miura. He's beaten Mickey Roman. He beat him last year in a great fight in November. And, you know, he's just rolling, and he is the number 1 fighter at 130. So this really becomes a big fight right here, a big rematch. Vargas hasn't done much since that loss, though. He's only fought twice, and it's been, 2 years and 4 months since that fight. So that's, 28 months. He's only fought 2 times. So it's going to be a 13-month layoff coming into this showdown, and I think Berchelt's going to roll through him again. Vargas is older. He's 34, 35. He's battle worn. He's been in some tough fights, and I just don't think he's going to have the stamina to go 12 at his age and being so inactive. And I feel Berchelt's in his prime right now, and I think Berchelt's going to break him down and beat him up because Berchelt knows that a showdown with Lomachenko could happen at some point, or a unification bout with Masayuki Ito. Could be on the horizon too. So a lot of big things going on in this weight class. 130 is really good, and Berchelt's got a lot looking forward. But I would never be surprised if Francisco Vargas pulled out the upset. But I'm calling a middle to later round stoppage, and Berchelt's gonna retain that WBC world title. So make sure you're paying attention, guys. Saturday, May 11th, you got Showtime, and you got ESPN. I mean, not Showtime. You got Fox. Regular Fox and ESPN Plus. Check it out. All right, guys. True Boxing. Been hit with the truth.